Yep, another day, time to go to work. Gotta fire the oven so we have it on time. Coming to life, now we can get the mixing bowls, put them on the mixers. Baking is more of a precise science than cooking is. Cooking, you know, they'll cut up a large onion and put it in, and maybe the next time the onion might not be as big. In baking, we actually put 12 ounces in a formulation because it's chemically balanced. Baking is more of a precise science to have things come out consistently good. We're here more hours a day than we're actually at home in the evening. Haydel started in 1959. My father opened a trampoline center with my uncle and 2 other partners to get the property. They had to buy the donut shop that was on the property, or the lady wouldn't let the lease on it.
The agreement between him and his early partner was he would run the donut shop and his partner would run the jump center.
The bakery was more what Lloyd and I wanted. And so the trampoline center went down, though it didn't last too long.
We ended up running a donut shop, and that's how I grew up. From the time I was 11 years old, I worked in a donut shop with my father. A couple of our donut cutters were old retired bakers, and I was very intrigued with some of the stories. You can't buy that kind of knowledge from old timers. I mean, it just isn't there, and you don't learn it in baking school. We just started getting more interested in making products other than just donuts.
The donuts are a thing of the past. We get some customers that come in sometimes, need a dozen donuts. Sir, we don't make donuts. I just bought a dozen donuts here last week. I don't think you were here. We haven't made donuts since about 1980.
My cousin actually was dating one of her sisters, and my cousin said, "Why don't you come over?" He says, "I'm dating one of these twins." He says, "She's got a twin sister." Well, when I went over there, I started going out with their little sister, who was now my wife.
But I always thought David worked crazy hours, even then. I mean, he was 17, and we couldn't do certain things on Friday night because he had to get up early Saturday. We couldn't do things Saturday night because he had to get up Sunday. He wanted to go out on a Monday. Well, a Monday was a school night, so my mother said, "No way." Oh, my children have been the love of my life. And as young children, you always think of what your children might do, what they might become.
Dottie insisted that the boys go to college and finish and then decide what they want to do. I would have sooner had to help.
Get your education first, and then if you want to do this, it's always here. So we both did that. In 1965, Hurricane Betsy blew into the city, and a tornado took the building down.
When Betsy came, Lloyd stayed up there. I had left because he wanted us to go. And he was going to stay and try to sell all the milk and the bread because we still had a lot of it.
We left the building at probably 9 o'clock that night, and the building was rumbling so bad. I told my dad, "We've got to get out of here."
40 minutes after he came home was when the hurricane completely hit us.
And one of our state trooper friends told us about 10, the building actually collapsed. Let me tell you, what a hurricane can do to a tin building is just unbelievable.
They rebuilt the building to a portion of what's existing now is the actual old building from 1965.
Yeah, as the years progressed, we got hit by the second hurricane that really devastated New Orleans, even more so than Betsy. Most of my employees were displaced all over the country. We were the first bakery to actually reopen from Hurricane Katrina. We were open probably a month or 2 before any other bakeries in the city were open. And that was kind of a unique situation because it didn't matter what you baked. You sold everything you baked every day as hard as you could work. And this went on for a couple of months until we finally got some competition back. Thank the Lord. Chrissy and I were the 2 major decorators before Katrina. It wasn't too long, Chrissy was able to come back and we dropped a FEMA trailer for her and a couple of the other employees that we were able to get back.
The wedding cake workhorse, you know, Chrissy goes into wedding cake mode as soon as we start cutting them out.
When I had my first daughter, I taught myself how to decorate so I can make her cakes.
Christiana came to work for us right after Hurricane Katrina. The place she was working got knocked out.
Pretty much it was just him and I in the beginning. And it wasn't so bad. I love Dave Senior. I mean, he's like a dad to me.
Lauren graduated with an art degree and came to work in the front shop as a sales clerk.
I interviewed with Dave Jr. because he knows my mom through wedding industry.
You know, in New Orleans, everybody knows everybody.
We've gotten so busy this time of year with wedding cakes that we need her decorating wedding cakes in order to get them finished before it's time to deliver them.
I'd like to take full credit for Lauren.
From day one, Ryan's been really supportive of me. He let me just kind of wing it.
What can I say about Skeeter?
Skeeter's one of our decorators. I think her real name is Saskia, but she goes by Skeeter. Because who the hell could remember Saskia?
How I got the job was after they called me like 5 times. Look, we got this opening, you want to come? Look, we got an opening, you want to come?
Skeeter's somebody I've known through word of mouth for several years, and I worked really hard to get her to come here.
She's done some amazing 3D cakes for us.
Skeeter used to greet me in the morning with a hug, and she picked me up one morning and bruised one of my ribs.
I almost broke him, our morning hug. And he comes for the hug. Oh, I want a hug. Like, he wants me to pick him up.
So since then, we have a rule, no hug in the morning.
We'd like to put a king cake around the Superdome.
Well, I'm not as good with all that history stuff. The history was before my time. I'm the youngest and best looking.
We started making king cakes after we started making a full bakery line. Its origin was actually Europe, and it came into New Orleans and became part of the Mardi Gras festivities. And over the years, we just started making more and more and more king cakes.
The king cake business has grown exponentially over the years. In the late 80s, we started shipping them, and that's when king cakes really took off for us.
Originally, it was the traditional bread with purple, green, and gold sugar or sprinkles.
And that was it. That was the king cake. And then over the years, we've added icing, we've added fillings.
Local bakeries are kind of always trying to outdo each other with the latest filling. The mainstay, traditional king cake, or some of those early fillings are still the most popular.
The plastic baby, a lot of people think the significance of the baby is the Christ child. They used to put a bean or a button in the cake. Whoever would get it would then become the king or the queen of the Mardi Gras festivity. It doesn't significantly mean anything about the Christ child.
They'd have king cake parties, and whoever would get that baby would bring the next week's king cake. Every time I'd bring a king cake, it was stolen.
The traditional New Orleans style king cake is probably the most popular king cake out of all of them.
My dad did a small king cake around a gymnasium when we were in grammar school. The night after they did that king cake, we were sitting down having dinner, and I remember him saying, the next one's going to be around the Superdome.
During Mardi Gras, that's when the Saints were making their run to the Super Bowl. So we were just getting killed with black and gold king cake orders.
We start working longer and longer hours, and we start to get a little bit delirious. And when we start getting a little bit delirious, there ain't no telling what we're gonna dream up.
Ryan I think he was scaling dough on the machine, and I was walking by with a box of labels. I think we were shipping out like 2,500 cakes that day. And he turns to me and he goes,
Dave, why don't we try and do a king cake around the Superdome?
and I'm thinking to myself, we got to make it through today. What you thinking about making a king cake around the Superdome? I was like, we'll worry about that later.
But after Mardi Gras, the dust settled. I brought it up again, and he said, well, let's give it a shot.
I had a contact over at the Superdome, and I called him, and he kind of pointed us in the right direction.
And the boys said, you know that idea you had years ago about putting a king cake around the Superdome? Well, why don't we go around it twice? Twice.
That's a lot of king cake.
this is just the normal Mardi Gras weekend for us. Combination of bread and cake flour, 2,242 pounds, 488 pounds of sugar, bringing both loops around the dome, grand total to 8,012 pounds. You've got to scale off your eggs, your sugar, your flour.
That goes on the mixer for 20 minutes.
Once it comes off the mixer, we let it rest.
We actually let the dough ferment in the bowl for 1 hour.
Once it comes to the top of the bowl, we run it through the machine. We scale each size. That's something I do.
Drops into a rounder where it rounds it into a little ball.
We have the machine that actually flattens it. Then it comes off the table.
Then the rest is all done individually by hand.
Put the cinnamon and oil on it.
Cut it into 3 strips, braid it all the way through, roll it out.
Let it rise in what we call a proofer.
Goes over to the oven, bakes for about 12 minutes.
It comes out the oven, flip it onto a board, stick a king cake baby in it, then sent out back to the UPS truck.
From here to the Superdome.
Next on Piece of Cake.
I was born for this!
If you go to get food, you got to bring enough for everybody. Where's my f***ing Whopper?
Everybody's starting to run on E.
And everybody met at the bakery. Everybody was gung-ho. There was the lead up of all day. Hey, we're going to do this tonight.
Boy, I tell you, it's amazing how quiet this crew is right now.
The Guinness record is based on weight.
You don't want it to be thin here because you're going to cut that off. If you cut this much off, you could lose a lot throughout the entire dome.
We want as much cake as possible. What we have to do is, in order to qualify for the record, we have to have an exact weight on the king cake itself. So after these are baked, we put 3 on a cardboard.
We got 1,000 trays with 3 pieces on a tray.
We weigh them to get an exact weight of how much cake is being used to make it. We have to save those scrap pieces and weigh that afterwards because we'll deduct whatever that scrap is from the total weight, and that'll give us the exact weight of the cake.
People love the idea when you talk to them and you tell them about it, but now it's like, now it has to happen, you know? And it'll be pretty embarrassing if it doesn't happen.
I'm going to take the 3 strips and put them on here, and I'll put them in a bag.
This sucker's going around the Superdome.
It's going to be a late night here tonight.
Not only do we have to get the cake set up, but this is an event.
I'm just trying to think when I'm going to sleep between now and Wednesday.
At my age, I think this is my last hurrah on a big event like this. The boys will have to handle it after this.
I don't see you. Okay.
Let's go, guys. Let's keep it moving. Love logistics.
Arriving on time.
We're trying to get everything loaded as fast as possible right now, because any bit of time we save now will help us out later tonight. Let's go, Philip. We're losing time. Let's go. Come on, Philip. It's gonna be a long night.
We got to load up Cake 2's icing, Cake 2's cake, and Cake 2's sprinkles.
I was born for this.
It's going to take us a little bit to unload all this.
See, here's the problem. We don't have a forklift till midnight. I don't know if you want that stuff.
We got to put 1 box every 6 tables.
I say we take the extra hands down there now, get all this unloaded, and then come back. That way we'll do it a little bit faster.
They wanted to get those trucks full and down there and emptied and back to get their work done for the night. And we actually got them filled a lot faster than we thought. So they were able to get down there before the forklift driver came.
The UPS guys were concerned because there was nobody to unload the king cakes down at the dome.
We'll have y'all out of here in time. You got till 4. No.
At first we kind of stood there dumbfounded, and then somebody actually said, hey, we've got these golf carts. Let's start unloading it by hand. We just offload a couple of pallets by hand and get started and let them start laying it out.
All right.
I think it was my idea, actually. They need to flip the tops off.
To let it defrost?
Yeah.
All right.
1 box on every table.
10-4.
All right, let's go.
Dad's a Marine, so this is going from the world's largest king cake to a military operation.
Here's 8L boot camp. Here we go. Go, Marine. And I'm thinking pretty soon we're gonna have to start icing the crap out of this cake. There's 2 things that don't work well together. It's humidity and king cake icing.
So we teamed up with a local group of guys that boil crawfish. They have a big rig that they use to boil the crawfish.
This This is more high-tech than the bakery. I want to start putting the icing on the cake. No pun intended.
I'm gonna get y'all starting to ice and sprinkle.
Come on. Do it with a passion. Do it like you love it. Come on. Maybe we can speed it up and cut a couple hours off of it. Man, I tell you, we're a little behind schedule.
What's wrong?
Something's dripping here. We'll just replace this one piece.
Dad, we gotta replace a section of cake here. Something's dripping. It's water. It's coming through the concrete.
Evidently, the concrete must have had a leak in it, so we had to pull the tables out and reassign the area where the drip wasn't on the tables.
Just keep on icing and going down. I'm gonna go get a piece to replace that.
It's unbelievable.
We'll fix it. Almost 61 pounds. It's coming off the total weight because we didn't even use it. It's a lot to come off, plus all that scrap. I think we'll be all right, but I don't know how much that scrap is until we weigh it.
One thing I'll give Dave credit for with driving that golf cart around.
Whose cart's that my way? Mine.
His deal all night was making sure the icing and the sprinkles and the scrap were all in exact places so that we wouldn't be disqualified at any point. I'll give you credit for that, brother. That's it.
Slacker.
Slacker.
Yes, indeed. I'm going to tell him about himself.
Oh, God. Dave Jr. Let's see. Where can we start? Lazy?
He's always doing something, but never really doing much.
Dave's okay. He's a little slacker.
You know, people always look at what other people are doing. My duty was to make sure that they had icing everywhere they needed it, and when they filled up a box of scraps, that I took it and they emptied a bucket of icing, I took it and set it all in the different places where it needed to be.
Dave was caught up in moving his golf cart around the dome.
Wait, I gotta get sprinkles and stuff to go that way.
And here this is 3 a.m. and he hasn't eaten.
If you go to get food, you gotta bring enough for everybody. Where's my Whopper?
I actually was concerned that he might start eating the king cake, and that would have really messed up the whole Guinness effect.
I was tired. I'm not gonna lie, it was rough.
And everybody's starting to run on E. I'm on E. I know everybody's getting tired, they're getting cranky.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get some more ices on this thing on the other one, and we'll be doing this till 12.
Where is their extra cake one? They got cake for days with nothing on it, so we need to get that covered as soon as possible. Where?
Yeah, so they're coming up, yeah.
How are we looking on time?
We're okay on time. Well, it is South Louisiana, and we do have ants.
I know everybody's getting tired, they're getting cranky.
They got cake for days with nothing on it. Get that covered as soon as possible.
I was starting to get a little worried. We'll do it. We'll get it done. I think.
Bye-bye. The girl from Guinness is here. Amanda from Guinness showed up at about 5:30, and don't think we were quite ready for her just yet.
The cake dough, the icing, and the sprinkles all have to be weighed before they're assembled, and then the leftovers are weighed after to get the final weight of the cake, which is what the record is based on.
We switched from bakers to promotional mode.
Each cake is going to weigh probably around 4,000 pounds.
This time when you get the baby, you don't have to buy the king cake.
The first cake on the inside of the table is going to break the first world record, and the one on the outside is going to break our own world record. So
I love it.
So anybody working downtown, come on down on your lunch break.
And the thing that worried me the most about it was, do we get rid of all of it? I mean, you know, a mile of king cake, we had a lot of help to bring it there. What are we going to do with all this king cake when it's over if we don't sell it?
You know, the old saying, build it and they will come. This was strictly, it was bake it and they will come.
12 o'clock rolled around and people just kept coming and coming and coming. It looked like the whole CBD just emptied out of the buildings and just came right up to the Superdome.
When the crowd started coming up, it was actually quite remarkable, and actually I was quite shocked.
And then the big moment, we started to measure. 2643.01. 2650.03. So it was 7 feet longer. As I was weighing the king cake, she's writing down all the weights and all that, and then she's calculating and calculating and calculating, and she gets to that bottom number. And I knew what the old record was, and then I saw that number and I knew that was our record. And I said, man, we did it. That's our record right there.
I was slicing the king cake somewhere around the dome, and they said they're presenting the Guinness plaques. You need to get up there.
Today is extra special because I get to announce not one, but 2 new world records. If you haven't noticed, there's actually 2 cakes that are circling the Superdome. The first record was set by the outer cake, which weighed in at 4,068 pounds, 8.99 ounces. And then the inner cake topped the outer cake with a total weight of 4,073 pounds, 7.12 ounces. So again, congratulations and welcome to the Guinness World Records family.
The inner cake actually weighed more than the outer cake. We thought about it.
The inner cake is when everybody had a little bit more energy and everybody was a little more pumped up, and everybody, I really think we were putting more icing on the cake. And so once that first cake was done, I think it had a lot more icing and a lot more sprinkles, so it had a lot more weight on it.
We actually sold every bit of the cake that we made.
We were able to write a check for $48,000 to Susan G. Komen.
We are truly blessed today to have all of you here to help further our cause in the New Orleans area.
We asked Rita Benson LeBlanc to say a few words, and all of a sudden she hauls out the Lombardi trophy.
Shared with Haydell's accomplishment, and one little tidbit that they don't know, my mother's been sending me Haydell's king cakes for years.
It was quite an accomplishment and quite a feeling to have somebody tell you that.
That was the one thing he planned on doing, David, and he really did it because his daddy would be proud of him.